Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Now, I have been having a lot of fun with this new faction Unity guy, Teox. I was fortunate enough, like if you caught my video, you would have seen that I went for him pretty hard. It's the first time I've really kind of spent any kind of money on sort of prism shards. I've always got the one or the two from the different events, but I've never really bought any beyond maybe like 20 for the $4.99 because I was close to another summon. I've never really bought the big packs up until Legate Teox. Because of course, Legate Teox is this crazy damage dealer with this like 16 times multiplier if you get it all set up, and this A1 is absolutely obnoxious in certain content pieces. So I've been having a lot of fun in Hydrant and lots of different areas, but I was on stream the other night and one of my regular viewers, Curry, basically had this concept and suggested to me that I should look at Legate Teox with Calvalax. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to make a Hegemon Legate Teox, and that is going to be the most hilarious thing you've ever seen, and it actually has some viability, albeit it is very easily counterable as well. So it's a bit of a fun video, this one, to show you how you can kind of use two different champions to manipulate an outcome, which is quite fun. So how can you make a Lizardmen Hegemon? If anyone doesn't know what I mean by a Hegemon, of course, Hegemon has been in the game for a very long time now. Knight Revenant used to dominate the arena meta when it was speed teams back in 2021. Then he went through this period of time where people started using him for just this A1 with Evil Eye to try and like break the speed leads. And then he lost sort of all value in arena for a while when it used to be the Terras meta. And he's kind of come back a little bit more now with the Armand's meta. But what he has is this passive where he will always go first each round, and if there's multiple Hegemons, then the one with the highest speed wins that race. They have recently changed the coding of this ability. It used to be the way that it would work is when you entered battle, it would almost like give you 3,000 turn meter. It would give you a ton of turn meter to make sure you always went first. Now they actually have coded it so that you will effectively start the round with your turn, which has caused a few problems because you used to be able to see which person was the fastest, like which champion was the fastest on the enemy team. You can't really right now. So how can we make Legate Teox do exactly the same thing? Because of course, a big value of Legate Teox, if you have two faction allies, he will self-buff himself and he will also place block revive on anyone under a debuff. So if you can get a debuff out there and you use this ability, then it's pretty much a guaranteed surefire win unless they have some really strong mechanics to counter you. So how we do it is we utilize this passive. He will fill his turn meter by 5% whenever an enemy or an ally receives a debuff. The way this works is if I place a debuff, I get 5%. If the enemy places a debuff, I get 5%. If I place 4 debuffs, I get 20%, one for every single debuff. There's no sort of hard limit or hard cap with this. So if you can find a way to debuff a lot of enemies or receive a lot of debuffs at the same time, then there is a lot of opportunities here for you to do some crazy stuff. And this is where Calvalax comes into the mix. Calvalax is a little bit like Hegemon in the sense that he will place 4 poisons at the start of each round. If you're in PvE content, obviously this is 4 poisons on 5 enemies, so that's 20 poisons, which 20 times 5% on Teox is 100% turn meter. And what you essentially create is this insane combination where you can literally go first irrespective of the turn meter. So you can see I've got this set up right now. I'm going to just put my Teox in the lead. We can go into any sort of Doom Tower wave and absolutely annihilate it. Let's go up to like 115 hard. 1115 hard here. Let's leave the higher accuracy just in case we need it for, actually, no, I think we're fine. Let's go in here. So I'm using a level 1 Calvalax, and this is just the most hilarious stuff you're ever going to see. Absolute crazy damage. So because we instantly start the round with 4 poisons on 5 enemies, even though my Teox is super slow, we're basically getting insane amounts of turn meter, and you can see nothing can really withstand his damage. It is absolutely insane, and even if they don't quite die straight away, then what you're essentially doing is killing them with the poisons. Now this wave, we've kind of got a bit of bad luck because of skill rotation, so it's going to be 50-50 if we survive this one. Oh, it might be a bit too close. Oh, the Fearless procced. So of course, it's not like a foolproof thing. It just depends when your skills rotate back round. But as long as you enter the wave with A3, then of course you're going to block revive. So we can see here, even at 115, this looks pretty rough at the moment. However, once we get this revive in a moment, we should be okay to instantly kill them. Here comes the revive. Hopefully now we should be able to do it. Oh, the fears come back out because it took us too long. Hopefully the fear... There we go. Block revive and cleared out. Instantly cleared out. And you can see it's all about Teox. All about Teox. He's doing crazy amounts of damage. Level 1 Calvalax. So this got me thinking, is this a very good way of being able to counter true speed teams? What we've seen a lot in Siege defenses recently, because the auras still work, is a lot of teams are just able to beat you by going first. They'll bring like Arbiter, Shuzhen, and just lock you out. Something like this team here. Arbiter, Shuzhen. Normally you'd be looking at going, it's a 6-star banner. The aura is different. Like, it's very difficult to counter. What I was thinking in my big brain ideas was, can we actually use this team to abuse this mechanic to essentially always guarantee we go first? Because even if this Arbiter's 400 speed, because I'm instantly granting myself 80% turn meter here, 4 champions, 4 poisons, 80% turn meter, even with a Teox that is currently at the speed of 193, how fast can we go? Well, let's find out. And this is how obnoxiously stupid this is. We are fighting against a full 6-star banner on an Arbiter with a 30% aura, and we have no speed aura. 0 speed aura, and we have basically got to our turn before Shuzhen and Arbiter has even breached 60% of their turn meter. And what you can do then is you could if you want to open up the A2, this is a good idea. It will increase your attack if you are confident you can kill someone. So I'm pretty confident I can kill this Shuzhen. Gives me an extra turn, and then now I've got 20% more attack, and I'm probably going to absolutely block revive. And it doesn't matter how much is left, because we've placed the poison, they have lost. And his A1 and his A2 is good enough that you can absolutely finish it off. And that was a full 6-star speed banner on someone who is probably quite a good player, because I'm quite high up in the arena at the moment. We can use it against this type of team as well. Another full speed, okay, not as much banner, but again, we're fighting a 30% aura against no speed aura. Most of the time, if you don't bring a speed aura, you will lose the speed race. But again, they can't even get close to us, and we can come in and we can absolutely use the A1 and do that and one-shot them. It's very, very fast for speed clearing. Now, you might be wondering, sitting here going, well, yeah, that's okay, but what about Stone Skin? Well, the good thing about this strategy is the poisons will apply before Stone Skin. So in this situation here, you can see Stone Skin comes in. Now, of course, Stone Skin is going to sweep it off. If you resist some of your debuffs, which is what we have there, then you won't be able to take a turn. You do need to land as many of them as possible. But you can absolutely get the poisons out prior to the Stone Skin, and then the Stone Skin will just simply cleanse them away. This instance here, we just didn't place enough debuffs. So it can be resolved in that instance, as long as you keep getting the debuffs out. That's the important thing. You can't have this situation. This is really awkward to have. Now, there's some ways you can get around this. You could probably put your accuracy aura instead of resistance aura to basically boost up your accuracy to make sure you land the debuffs like this. But again, if you're not landing all of your debuffs, you're going to struggle. So here's some of the problems with this strategy. Obviously, polymorph is an issue, and there's ways to get around this. If you place 4 poisons on 4 enemies, then you've got 4 chances of being polymorphed. That's a very strong possibility that you will get polymorphed. The other issue, of course, is what happens once the Stone Skin comes in. Do you just straight up lose to 4 Stone Skin? You probably do. So it can be countered. It's probably not good for every scenario, but it will catch people out, and it is a little bit of fun. You could do some crazy things with some teams that you would think I can't even touch just by having this setup in here. So we've been able to break this first. So again, I can absolutely just go in and block revive the 2 win conditions. So it doesn't even matter that they got Galatha at this point, because they can no longer win. There's no way they're going to have enough damage that they're going to be able to break my team at this point, because, you know, Pythian is sort of holding up the team. And normally his damage profile is so high that even his A1 and his A2 is going to be able to kill someone. The Galatha is doing his best possible here to slow us down, but you know, even if we lose some of these champions, we'll be able to, you know, bring them back. There we go. The Galatha is down, and now it's just a case of working through the ultimate Death Knight, and that is normally quite a scary defense, because you're like a 6-star Harima and a 4-star Galatha. You know, that is a pretty big, strong defense. The other thing to note is you can't run it into Marichka. Marichka's passive will kind of kill this, because if you place any sort of poisons, you get a block damage, and obviously he's going to jump the curve, so he's not going to be able to do any damage, because he himself doesn't ignore block damage, only strengthen, ally protection, and shields. So you can't run into Marichka, and you've got to be careful about Stone Skin. But how can we get around some of the problems in terms of Polymorph? Well, what I've essentially done here is using this level 1 Calvalax, so you don't need anything more, is I have built him with 0 speed, but actually I've built him with insane amounts of resistance and accuracy. That's the concept. Obviously 629, a lot of people will say is not insane. I still haven't done mastery, so I can get another 50. There's some glyphing and adjustments and boosts and ascension stuff, like we could get resistance here, we could get resistance here. There's growth to the current build. It should be like above 700 resistance and about 500 accuracy. So what you can do is you don't need speed, and you don't really care about his survivability. His job is to land the poisons and not get polymorphed. And polymorph, until it is at rank 6, you can resist it. And not many people beyond the top level, this isn't going to work in every scenario, especially at the top level. You need accuracy 9 times out of 10 to be able to place sheep. So if you can resist the polymorph, then polymorph is not a problem, assuming they're not 6-star. And I will say you can't use this in live arena because it's too easy to ban out faction unities. I would say, to be honest, no faction unity champion is going to be viable in arena, due to the fact that all you have to do normally is ban one of the faction or the faction unity itself, and the whole team falls apart. That's the issue with Falmond, why you never see really Falmond used in live arena, because he needs all 3 bonuses. So all you have to do is you either have to pick 5 of the Sacred Order, but then he just simply gets banned, or you pick less Sacred Order and then you lose your 3 bonus and it just doesn't work. So it's an unfortunate product of the faction unity system. But for every other area, and specifically Siege, this could be a very powerful offense for you to use against some of those speed teams in arena that are trying to just win by going fast. They're trying to abuse the fact that they've got a 400 speed Siphi. You can get away with just winning because there's no real way that a 400 speed Siphi can be able to cut in if you have got all 4 poisons being placed, because he's going to gain so much turn meter, he will always go first. Now, another cool thing I did with Calvalax is I put lethal dose on him. And ideally, if you can get him up to a 3 or a 5-star, even if you don't kill someone, when they take a turn, they will have taken enough damage that they will be finished off by the poison. So that's another good way that you can basically have a Calvalax with level 1 with no damage stats, but actually this will do a lot of work. This is actually quite scary. 200% on a 5% is 15%. He places 4 poisons. That will basically, 2 of these would one-shot an enemy team. One of them, with a Teox kind of backing it up, will finish off anyone who doesn't quite die. So that's another nice way you can add some damage. The other thing you need to do is you need to anchor the team. I've built Pythian here to be extremely, extremely strong. He has got a lot of resistance at 746. 261 is a bit slow, but that's because the boots didn't roll speed. Once we get those in, it'll be better. We did get a resistance there. We didn't get a resistance here, so he has more to come. Obviously, this will be better with defensiveness. And then we have just gone for as much effective HP as we can get. Ideally, I'd want him in Supersonic or Stone Skin, but I just don't have the gear to be able to achieve the stats that I want here. So he needs to survive so that if you do get unlucky against an Armands, you can break the stun chaining with this A2. He can never be stunned by Armands. If he's stunned by Armands, you're going to get stuck up by the fact that you're just going to get constantly CC'd and chained around. So that's really important that he is able to anchor the team. And then Romantu, of course, is here to give a little bit more turn meter to Teox. And I will probably be rebuilding my Romantu soon to be a bit more damage orientated to support the Teox. So that's kind of like how I've built it. At the moment, Teox is just built as pure damage in some of my best lethal gear. He's got lethal, cruel. He's in full damage ability. 310%, 7.9k attack, 193. No blessing at the moment for him. I haven't been able to get one. So when his stats go up, it will be absolutely insane. But it is an effective way to clear away some of these very powerful teams that you can't outpace, or some of these teams that you know are going to be very difficult to defeat because of the block revive potential. Once you take away the enemy win condition, they really can't do anything other than just sit there for a while, and you're just biding your time. And you can see here, every single time Calvalax takes a turn, he's effectively giving turn meter as well, because he will place more poisons. And just follow up here, and then finish off this Duchess. So we're able to take down some quite powerful teams. So that was a bit of a fun showcase. I will say Torment is also a bit of a problem, but you're running the gauntlet. Will you get frozen when you get self-buffed? You get a lot of turn meter here. Will you get frozen when you do anything like this, like that? And that is a problem with Torment, with him in particular. You're not really going to be able to avoid that one in that instance. So there are clear problems to it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's an amazing defense option, but it is incredibly powerful as an offense option when you know you're going to be facing a difficult team to beat. When you don't think you can beat it, his ultimate power here means you're just going to be able to override this and take them out. And that is how he's doing it here. You can see once I take out the win conditions, the supports are just a case of a matter of time. And even outside of Arena, I'm now using it as one of my principal Doom Tower climbing teams because there's really not a lot that can stop it. Even on these extremely high stages of hard Doom Tower, it's just so strong in terms of damage that not a lot can stop it from winning. What I should probably do, though, is configure the team to actually open with his A2 so that he gets the full stacking of his attack buff, right? The A2 will give him 30%, well, 50% more attack, so that will help his A2 and A3 actually kill things more frequently. So you're seeing here, we're failing here just because of the sort of the difference of skill cycling. If we actually opened things properly, it would be okay. So I have actually just changed it over now. Let's see how much this improves it. Obviously, if you don't kill on that first ability, that's the only downside, is you don't have the increased attack until you use the A3. That could potentially hurt you in this instance here. But the poisons are helping. It should help keep us alive. And these are obviously the hardest stages in Doom Tower. Then we get that clean out, which is nice there. It's probably ideal for you to find some way to bring in an increased attack champion. Probably one of the lizards needs to have like increased attack in there to help you stay alive. But these waves will fall eventually once you get going and you build a team proper. I literally just threw in a couple of lizards with Calvalax to see how it would work. And you are probably going to be able to keep this team and get through all of these waves if you time your abilities properly. So there you go, guys. A bit of fun, kind of cool, very good into speed teams, has obvious counters, but I would expect this team to find more places in Siege as it gets more popular and more known, especially with those who have a Calvalax available, because it is simply just incredibly strong. Even without this third bonus here for the 100% more damage, it's still probably clearing out a lot of people. If I actually had a 4-star soul, it would be even easier because he gets, 750 attack, 38% crit damage. These are very powerful amounts of stats to add to his abilities. That would absolutely push his damage to another level. And I've seen him take out full terrasses, and even if they don't die, the poisons finish him off. If you get this up to a 5 or a 3-star, it's very powerful. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Are you going to go give this a try? Is this something that you already knew about, or is this kind of a cool idea that you think is actually quite fun? I do like building some fun teams every now and then. I know not every arena team is going to solve every problem. We can't always account for all the things, but certainly building some of these champions in high resistance to try and avoid some of the non-6-star polymorphs will help you build this team to success. Let me know in the comments below, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.